voice. Stay where you are. My voice projects. Hyde Park, Speaker's Corner,
Whoa.
has been invaded by religious nutcases and maniacs, all promising you a one-way ticket to heaven. Look, 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 look at them. Look at them very clearly. Because if you die and go to heaven, you're going to be with them forever and ever. Good luck to you. We are all the same people, regardless of sex, race, creed, color, sexual orientation, political persuasion, and religious denomination. We are all the same people. But they create divisions that keep us divided and fighting amongst each other. If we're not fighting each other because one is Muslim, one is Jew, or one is Christian, we're fighting each other because one is black, one is brown, one is yellow, one is red. Nonsense! And whilst we fight each other, the system fucks us all. We are all victims of a system, a maniacal system, which aims for global domination. And we can see that happening right now. I'm not going to speak for long. I haven't spoken in the park for about a year. I've only come here to open up the free speech platform. This is a platform which is opened up to the public, whereby anyone who has something to say can come up and say it for 5 minutes and give someone in the audience the right to reply. I'm not saying that I am right, that all my views and opinions are the right views and opinions for yourselves. Because we all have different cultural, religious, and political experiences which shape and mark the way we view the world. If I were living in Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Bahrain, I too might be a Muslim. I too will worship Allah. If I were unfortunate enough to be born a European, not only will I not have any rhythm and can't dance, but I too might worship Christianity. We are all the same people, shaped by our cultural experiences. Yet, we are all being screwed over together. The way the world works, the modern human being, look at you. I'm terrified that I'm starting to sound like my parents. When my parents were coming up, they were saying, "You young people, you don't know what it is like." And I think the same right now. I remember when I was growing up, there were central values, certain morals and principles that were central to us as human beings. Those core values were family, community, society, friends, neighbors. All of that has now been deconstructed. Now people only think about themselves, about the car they drive, the house they live in, the job they do, how big their house is, how expensive their car is, how attractive their husband or their wife or their girlfriend or whoever they're fucking is. That's how shallow and bullshit this world has become. We don't know what to believe. The world tells us Muslims are bad people. They're terrorists. We should be careful. Watch out for them. They are against our way of life. Hands up if you are Muslim. Where are you Muslims? Hands up if you are Christian. Hands up if you are Jewish. Don't be afraid. I'll protect you from these Christian and Muslim fanatics. Madam, as a Jew, you believe in Adam and Eve. As Jews, you recognize Adam and Eve. Not you personally, but in the faith of Judaism. They acknowledge Adam and Eve. As Christians, you acknowledge Adam and Eve. As Muslims, you acknowledge Adam and Eve. As Jews, you recognize Abraham. As Christians, you recognize Abraham. As Muslims, you recognize Abraham. As Jews, you acknowledge Moses and the laws of Moses. As Christians, you acknowledge Moses and the laws of Moses. As Muslims, you acknowledge Moses. You come from the same Abrahamic faith, the roots. So why are you fighting each other? Why do we have Christians and Muslims telling each other that my God is better than your God? It is the same. Whether you are atheist, Jew, Muslim, or Christian, we all have central core values that we should appreciate and respect in one another. If we look at the world right now, they tell us that we should be fearful of Muslim fundamentalists. But it is not Muslim fundamentalists who we should be afraid of. It is Christian fundamentalists who we should be terrified of. Look at what's going on in Syria today. Look at Iraq. Look at Afghanistan. Look at Egypt. Look at Libya. Who is behind the turmoil in the Middle East, in the Arab Muslim world? Western white supremacy, fundamentalist Christianity. These, well, in fact, I'm wrong. Lie. I shouldn't say Christian fundamentalists. I should say capitalist fundamentalists. These are the people. When we look at Syria, my friend, where are you from? Yes, you know you. Yes. Sorry?
Manchester.
Manchester. What do you think about the way the world is going on, is happening now? Not very good in the Middle East. Then why are the West there? Probably oil money. Why do you think the West are in Syria or the Middle East?
Well, maybe because you could say the Mossad is involved.
Pardon me?
The CIA and the Mossad are involved.
The CIA, he says the CIA and Mossad are involved in it.
Yeah.
The CIA and Mossad do not operate independently. So it is wrong to blame the intelligence agencies. The intelligence agencies have an agenda. What we are witnessing is Western imperialism, whereby we have the West imposing its values culturally, politically, socially on the rest of the world. I remember 20 years ago even, 30 years ago, you would walk down, come to Queensway, Come to Hyde Park and you would see Muslims dressed in their cultural dress. You would see Africans and Pakistanis and Indians dressed in their cultural dress. Let me show you what imperialism looks like today. Look at us. Look at all of us. We're wearing trousers, shirts. We don't even recognize when cultural imperialism creeps up on us. I went to Egypt. I saw McDonald's in Kentucky with queues. And it's no different now. When you leave Hyde Park and go to Marble Arch, you look how many Muslims are packed into McDonald's and Kentucky. You can't get enough of that finger-licking chicken. Cultural imperialism. We see America dropping bombs in Iraq, in Syria. Where is the media exposure of the crimes against humanity? Where is the ICC? Where is Ban Ki-moon? Where are the United Nations? But as soon as they want to target an African leader, Ban Ki-moon and the UN are out there giving broadcasts. The ICC are putting out warrants. America and Britain and France are saying, we must do something about this. You bunch of racist, white supremacist motherfuckers.
Yeah, we are all fucking devils. You are right.
Racist! You are the butchers! But you want to paint the picture that Muslims are the ones we should fear. I don't fear Muslims. I'll turn my back on Muslims. But you motherfuckers, sneaky, sly, manipulative, maniacal, warmongering barbarians. Look at the Middle East today. It is on fire. Syria, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan. And we think, wow, look at the chaos and mayhem. Iraq and Afghanistan and Libya and Syria, it is not a new phenomenon. Follow America. Follow the United States of America. And you will see the history of barbarism, colonial imperialism, murder, brutality, rape, and pillaging of other nations' resources. Afghanistan and Iraq are not new. In the 60s, they called it Vietnam. When America set fire to Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam, killing millions. In the 70s and 80s, America did the same to Latin America. Latin America was the Iraq and Afghanistan of today. El Salvador, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Panama, Chile, Grenada. That was the Iraq and Afghanistan and the Libya of the 80s. But America constantly gets away with it. Why? Because they have you all brainwashed. They consume you because they dominate your minds. Because you are cultural slaves. They have you enslaved to McDonald's, to Kentucky, to Coca-Cola, to Hollywood, to Arnold Schwarzenegger, to Sharon Stone, to Rambo, Superman, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Batman. And the narrative is always good versus evil. So we believe the Americans are good because they're heroes. Remember, America lost the Vietnam War. And so Hollywood sent back Rambo, Part 3. And he killed all the Vietnamese. One man with a gun that never empties, that never runs out of bullets. a dagger in his mouth, kills all the Vietnamese, and corrects history. Arnold Schwarzenegger goes to Afghanistan, jumps out of a helicopter at 5,000 feet without a parachute, lands like that. They give you the narrative of Hollywood, and so we do not believe. Imagine, you people of color, you are just as much victim of it. But imagine how that narrative works for white people. Oh, there is no need for any thought, because it is nothing but propaganda.
I recommend you see a film called King Kong.
He recommends that I see a film called King Kong.
Watch the end of it. Watch the end of it.
What is the end of it? The last King Kong I saw was the black and white one. He climbs up some tower. Imagine a black monkey from Africa runs to America to save the white, to have a white woman. And he swims the ocean. He climbs the Eiffel Tower and holds up the white woman. I see these narratives.
2005 it was made.
The 2005 version, what does he do? Kill all the other black monkeys to get this one white monkey.
See, at the end of it, they got some subliminal kind of message in it.
They have, in all their movies, they have some subliminal bullshit.
At the end of it,
my friend,
when King Kong dies,
they have subliminal shit in everything.
Huh?
Look at America now. America is a diverse nation, made up of so many people, but they have a common, one-dimensional white narrative. Look at America's top soaps that they used to have. Friends, Fraser, Sex in the City. How many black people did you see on Fraser? Sex in the City. How many Hispanics? How many Indians? All you saw was a one-dimensional narrative. Even in Fraser, the cleaner is white. Now you know that's racist.
And he was like that.
Even the cleaner in Fraser is white. Not even Hispanic or black.
They said, how did he die?
Yet America. Look at Friends. Friends is set in New York City, one of the most diverse and cosmopolitan cities on earth. Yet how many black people do you see on Friends? In fact, Friends don't have any black friends. That's the reality. And it's subliminal. We talk about the subliminal messages because it tells you that white is right. No wonder black America's up in arms with the Black Lives Matter. How ridiculous that they should be running around with placards saying Black Lives Matter to America. Because America is still segregated and still racist.
Black people get killed, white people get murdered.
They now have that. I was going to say something abusive, but I won't. They now have a black president. A devil. Barack Obama is even worse than George Bush. Worse than George Bush. And we have these dumb black Americans, African Americans, who will bow down to Obama. White liberals will not criticize Obama. But that is an ongoing narrative. The American machine is learning. They learned from Colin Powell. Because you know, my friend, if we think of icons of humanity, tell me an icon of humanity, international icon of humanity. Tell me an icon of humanity.
Martin Luther
You'll
King.
have Martin Luther King.
Marcus Garvey.
They'll tell you about Marcus Garvey. They'll tell you about Gandhi. They'll now tell you about Nelson Mandela. Black people are seen to be humane, against imperialism, against white supremacy. So when the West America wanted to sell the war in Iraq, recognizing that the world knows them as imperialists, as supremacists, they shuffled out a black man by the name of Colin Powell to tell you that. Over here is where Saddam Hussein, he was the one who sold you the lie that Saddam had weapons of mass destruction. He said, there they are, in a mobile laboratory, parked around the corner from Jihad Street, next to Ali Baba Lane, right there. He takes out his laptop and his flip chart and says, there. And we now know that that was a lie. After Colin Powell, the Republicans gave you Condoleezza Rice, selling the narrative. And so do you remember, at the point where Barack Obama was elected, there was a crisis in Western democracy. People had lost faith in America because of George Bush and the transparency of his government. The racism, the elitism, the corporatism was all there, expressed in the DNA of George Bush. So the world lost confidence. So America had to come up with something radical in order to entice voters back to this bullshit system of offering the chicken the option of being eaten by the wolf or the fox. So they said to you, oh, a revelation in American politics. It's going to be the first black president or the first woman, female. Bullshit. Barack Obama sent more troops to Afghanistan than George Bush ever did. We talk about Barack Obama when he came to office. He said he was going to close down Guantanamo Bay. It is still open. He said he was going to withdraw troops from Iraq. They're still bombing in Iraq. He said he was going to sedate the war in Afghanistan. There were more troops in Afghanistan under Barack Obama. There were more drone attacks against Pakistan and Afghanistan under Barack Obama than under George Bush. We have seen under Barack Obama the invasion of Libya. We have seen under Barack Obama the propping up of Sisi in Egypt, or the continuation of the Mubarak legacy. Egypt is the second largest recipient of US aid in the world. It was that under Mubarak, and it is that today under Sisi. The Americans refused to even call it a coup when Morsi was removed. Now, I'm not endorsing Morsi or the Muslim Brotherhood, but I'm saying what we see is the manipulation of foreign governments, of international politics, by the American and Western puppet masters. And that is what they call, that is the democracy that they want for us.
Would you say the news?
Fuck America.
Would you say the news is manipulation?
Excuse me, my friend, don't interrupt this piece here. I want to say it without any interruption. Fuck America. Now that I've got it off my chest, yes, sir. Fuck them.
Would you say
America is the greatest terrorist nation on earth, bar none.
Would you say the news is manipulation?
Would I say the news is manipulation? The news is 100% manipulation. Let me give you a classic example. If you are not abreast to what goes on in the media and the news. Classic story. We can all, for those of you who are British or living in England, you can see the manipulation in the way that the media has treated Jeremy Corbyn during his elections. Jeremy Corbyn was democratically elected on a mandate which is larger than any other previously elected Labour leader. Yet they undermine him at every point. They say, oh, we lost. Labour got more votes. Labour have sustained themselves, only losing 29 seats, where it was forecast they were going to lose 150 to 200 seats. We have a Labour mayor that was primarily elected as a result of the endorsement that Jeremy Corbyn gave Sadiq Khan.
That's right.
Yet the media distance themselves now. That media are supposed to be apolitical, do not be engaged in the political machine. But look at what they do. They manipulate your minds. Jeremy Corbyn is the only deal on the table because he's anti-establishment. I have real problems with Jeremy Corbyn. I believe he has a temperamental problem. I believe
From Zach Goldsmith.
from Zach Goldsmith. You drink it first.
I'm Jeremy Corbyn.
A clear point. We've seen the election campaign of Zach Goldsmith trying to link Sadiq Khan to terrorism. Why? On the sole basis of being a Muslim. How are you going to entice moderate Muslims to support subordinate themselves to this British system if you're even assassinating moderate Muslims. You can't get more moderate than Sadiq Khan. He's an ambitious opportunist. He's an opportunist. Sadiq Khan does not represent London. He does not represent Muslims. He does not represent the Labour Party. He does not represent Jeremy Corbyn. Sadiq Khan represents the ambitions and aspirations of Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan wants to be accepted as part of the establishment. Sadiq Khan would like to see himself in the future as Lord Khan. But I only see him as fucking Genghis Khan.
Very rude.
Was that racist?
Keep going, it might
Fuck it. I hate PC. So when we talk about is the news manipulation, the news is 100% manipulation. Every day. A few days ago, a refugee camp was hit by missiles in Syria.
Who did it?
The media headlines tells you, all of the mainstream media says, Syria, the Syrian government or the Assad regime have denied responsibility. Think about it, because it's subtle. The headlines say, Syrian government, Assad, deny responsibility. Think about it.